Get Gaming.
Hello and welcome to the D-Pod, your directional podcast brought to you by GetGaming.net. This is the episode for the 24th of January 2016. I am joined today here by Jeffrey Hoegee.
Hi guys, what's up?
Julie Elmkvist Hansen.
Hello guys.
And Johnnie Rogers.
Hey everybody.
So, before we start the actual episode, let's introduce ourselves a little bit. First of all, This is the D-Pod, directional podcast. This is a podcast where we focus on things like game theory, discussion, news articles, new releases, and most of all, we want to go deeper into the game theory. Not just we don't want to talk about what we did all week. We want to talk about the games. We want to talk about the mechanics. We want to talk about the impact on society. If you like that as well, this is the place for you. So let's go. Let's have a little bit of a roll call. First, Jeffrey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Matt Jeffrey. My alias is also known as Skylake. I'm 23 years old, med student. I'm a vivid gamer, collector, trader. I'm a semi-professional player for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I have my own team called Hiatus. And my hobbies include things like playing guitar and building computers and stuff like that. And that's pretty much all there is to it to me.
Okay, and how about you, Julie?
Well, my name is Julie. My alias is TheCyria. I am 24 years old. I live in Norway. I go to uni full-time and also work part-time in a bookstore. My hobbies is really reading a lot of books and playing games. That's what I do.
All right then, Johnny, what about you?
I am a something-year-old male individual that enjoy gaming a lot, and I do commentary casting for assorted fighting games. My hobbies include playing video games, more or less, and I like to getting down to the nitty-gritty of information as much as possible.
All right then. Well, my name is Dennis Onderdijk. I am 23 years old. I am from the Netherlands, and I'm also an semi-professional Smash player and a commentator for various outlets. My hobbies include, of course, gaming, voice work, which is why this podcast came to be, and I spend most of my free time playing on my PS4 or on my PC. I work in IT. I'm still in school. Should be done soon. After that, let's get a job and let's get working. But for now, I want to ask you guys, what have you been playing? So we'll start with you, Johnny. What have you been playing this week?
I have been playing a whole lot of Blade and Soul since it's been released on the 19th of this month, and I've had some pretty okay feelings about it. Some mixed ones, of course, but that's, of course, on release of games.
All right, what do you like about it?
I like how the game is just really, really beautiful. To be very honest, it can be a little bit hard on your computer if it's not up to the snuff for it. Of course, there's of course going to be a little bit of server issues because of people logging in and stuff like that, and there's bound to have some bugs and issues about that. But that's something I want to discuss later on.
All right. Anything else you've been playing this week?
League of Legends, actually. That's one of my most favorite games I like to play if I have some downtime or free time, or some Smash on the side.
All right. So, Jeffrey, what about you?
Well, since I was in the market for a used PS3 system, I got Final Fantasy X HD Remake, and I've been pretty much no-lifing it ever since I got it. And I've clocked about 40 hours this week already.
40 fucking hours. That's a work week right there.
Yeah, right
That's
there.
dedication.
That's how dedicated I am to relive the good memory of Final Fantasy X. And on the side, I've been playing a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online. I bought that a few days ago, and I'm really liking it so far. And of course, my main game, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, in which I finally got my Global Elite rank back.
All right, nice.
Yay.
That's like top 10th percentile, right? If not,
It's the
higher.
highest rank in the game, and only 0.3% of players have it. So
Oh,
All right,
congrats, congrats.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
he's basically a challenger in League. Okay, I get that. Yeah. All right. Well, what about you, Julie?
Well, I've been playing Ori and the Blind Forest. It's a single-player platform adventure game, and I've been playing on PC. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing platform game. The visual aspect of it is just amazing. So is the sound, the music, and yeah, that's really what I've been playing. I've clocked a bit of hours as well, probably around like 13, 14 now. And a lot of deaths, because this is actually one of those platform games that tend to be a bit hard.
It's like Super Meat Boy, but a little prettier.
Exactly. But yeah, it's won a ton of awards, and I absolutely understand that. It's been nominated for a bit as well. And yeah, the story almost made me cry at some point because it's just so riveting. And of course, I start crying easily, but this is an amazing game.
You should stream it.
I should, right?
I
Totally
heard a
should.
whole lot of good things about it, actually. What got you into it in the first place?
I bought it around the release, which was like way back in March 2015. And I played it for a while. I think I got to like 40% of the gameplay done. And my God, I rage quit so hard. I had like 60 deaths and I rage quit. But then I saw it on my Steam library list this January, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try playing it again. And I haven't rage quit so far, but my death count this week is over 80. So there's definitely been a lot of rage.
There's
track of
probably a
those things.
rage quit incoming.
Yeah. But no, it's totally worth it though. As the story progresses, and you unlock new features, you unlock new attacks, and you have to go back and open new areas of the map. And yeah, it's breathtaking. It really is.
Well,
yeah.
Is that all you've been playing, or?
I have opened Diablo 3 a little bit. I did start a new seasonal character. I played on
I
PC.
saw you couldn't log in at first.
Yeah, I know. I was in a 13-minute wait queue for the server. I think they were really filled up. That was the last weekend on Sunday, I believe. So it was just 2 days after the season came out. Probably a lot of people playing over the weekend. But I finally did get in, and I leveled it some. I'm still only level 60, 70 on my new seasonal character, which is a Crusader.
For a boost.
Well, thank you. Now I'll remember that.
No, actually, I picked it up like the minute the patch went live. I actually logged in, and yeah, I think the new season is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's segue from that into what I've been playing this week. Also, a lot of Diablo 3.
Yeah.
However, I do have the PC version because seasons, and I played it on there a lot. I got to Paragon level 100 in a day, and it was it was quite exhilarating actually. New builds, especially new set items. The new sets are so incredibly powerful. Plus the fact that you now get them like automatically after you do a couple of achievements, you get 2 pieces of your set. And if you, I think the last achievement you have to do is do a Greater Rift on level 20, and you have 6 pieces. So yeah, you get that's a huge boost, and that's like a kickstart to the season, because a lot of people waste a lot of time farming their sets, and because it's like totally RNG based, you can't really it might take like 2 hours, or it might take 2 months before you get your set completed. Like, I had the same thing on my barbarian. I needed a couple of items, and it took me like months just because they wouldn't drop.
Yeah, there's nothing like feeling like that when something
Yeah.
just won't drop.
It's like WoW raiding all over again, but instead of doing it once a week, you do it twice every 15 minutes.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I actually splurged on the console version a little bit earlier this week. I thought, like, I owned it on 360. Didn't like it back then because it didn't have the expansion and it was a little bit out of date. But now I saw actually that the patch hit the consoles before the PC version did. So I kind of splurged. It wasn't on sale. And like, okay, I'll get it. So now I can play Diablo in bed and on my Vita, which I did not realize when I bought it. But then as soon as I hit the buy button, I realized, oh shit, my life is over. I can now.
Now you're
I-
just staying in bed all day.
Yeah, I now have the ability to play Diablo free anywhere. Like as long as I have Wi-Fi, I can just play Diablo all night long. Yeah, I don't think that's actually a smart idea, but
I don't think that's really healthy for you to do that.
I've done worse things.
Live a little. Come on now.
We all live a little.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's not the only thing I've been playing. That's the worst part. I've played a couple of portable games, mostly. I've picked up a couple of free DS games like Bravely Default, this nice Final Fantasy like JRPG. Got Shin Megami Tensei 4, post-apocalyptic, a little bit cyberpunky, very occult, very very nice, nicely put. Like it's an Atlas game, and Atlas games always have this great narrative to them. And apart from that, I got like a couple of weeks ago, I got Sword Art Online on my Vita. Actually got it for the trip back to the Netherlands, so I had something to play while in the train for. I guess I was train trip took me about 5.5 hours.
Yeah, you made the time go by then.
Yeah, I actually picked up 2 games, but one of which I haven't been playing this week. But yeah, it's like Sword Art Online. It's not a great game. It's solid. You do have a lot of freedom. You can fly around, and it feels like a fake MMO. There's actually online multiplayer now, which is weird. The first game that came out for SAO was Hollow Fragment. It's a game about an MMO which didn't have online multiplayer. So
Okay.
it kind of felt weird. But
Yeah.
like this is a lot better. You can actually just jump into a room system and just pick a room you like, and it's very easy. I think there's even voice chat functionality. I'm not sure. I haven't tried yet.
All right, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, apart
With
from
the
that,
voice chat and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it feels like a genuine MMO at some point.
When
Oh,
it
yeah.
really isn't.
No, it really is not. Like, yeah, it's good though. Like, it's a good time killer. It does get a little tedious after a while, but it's a good time killer. It's something like a little bit of abnegation. Like, you need a comfort food game. You need something that you don't need too much brain power for at that point. Well, then this game is what you need. Same thing with Diablo 3, by the way. You can just
definitely.
if I just want to do something but not think about it, I just put on a podcast. And,
I do the same thing. Every time I play Diablo, I'm just like putting podcasts on, chilling back and listening to the podcast while mindlessly slaying everything in my way.
Yep, just killing demons and shit. That's kind of what we do. Well, I think that's all I've been playing. No, wait, that's not true. I actually forgot one game. It's an iOS game. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the cartoon series Rick and Morty.
Yes,
of course.
I mean, who has Tiny Rick? Woo!
Well, there's this game out on iOS, which is called Pocket Mortys. It's I think the second Rick and Morty game for iOS, but this is it's basically a Gen 1 Pokemon clone.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
So, like, all the monsters that you encounter become collectibles then?
I'll explain kind of how it works, right?
I think I saw an article about this. Yeah, go on.
It could be. It's very popular actually. No, it starts out with Rick showing Morty like, hey, I got this interdimensional portal gun, and he shoots like poof, a portal, and this other Rick and Morty jump out, and the other Rick just starts talking about how everyone's all into Morty collecting, and training them to fight against each other. So you as Rick battle the other Rick uh, with your Mortys, and you know how Pokemon has like the type system, right? It's kind of
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
rock
yeah,
paper
yeah.
scissors system.
Hmm.
Well, this system is literally rock paper scissors.
Oh,
Okay.
what?
Yeah. So like you have one Morty who's a rock type, and you have another
Mhm.
Morty who's a scissors type, and another one who's a paper type. It's really weird. But apart from that, it works exactly the same. Like it's um you got like your normal D-pad, you got your A button, and you've got your party menu where you can see like up to 5 Mortys you can have in your party, something like that. But the narrative is basically you get into you beat that one Rick with his Morty, and you kind of you chase him into another dimension, because I don't remember exactly why, but you chase him into another dimension where you find wild Mortys that you have to chase down and tire out, and they like, and then they have to catch your breath, and if in that time frame you walk up to them and touch them, you'll get into a wild Morty battle. That is like a mind control chip that you use as a Pokeball, basically. It even beeps like 3 times instead of the 3 shakes. It's really stupid. But yeah, there's these other trainers. They actually call them trainers, which is weird. But he battles you with his Morty. And yeah, so there's the first zone. You get to the first Rick, who showed you his Morty. And yeah, you battle him, and you get an actual gym badge. You get a badge.
Okay.
Then you get pulled into an alternate dimension by a couple of Ricks, and they basically confiscate your portal gun, saying like, yeah, we have to make sure that everyone uses their portal guns responsibly. It doesn't fuck up the multiverse. So we're gonna have to have you collect 8 badges until we are sure that you can use your your portal gun correctly. It's like it's very stupid. Like the humor from Rick and Morty is there. It's free.
All right.
The monetization is actually good. There are some microtransactions that make you grind a little faster. It's not like very much, but it's very like the game doesn't even tell you about them. There's one machine that
All
lets you do
right.
the microtransactions that you walk up to and just interact with, but there's no reason for you to actually do it. Like if you don't want to spend money on it, you just walk right by.
That's fair enough. It sounds like it has a lot of comedic value in itself, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very it's very much true to the writing of the actual show. However, there's a little bit of a lack of voice acting. There's like small sound bites when your Morty gets it. He's like, "Ouch!" That kind of thing. But that's basically it. It's actually very good. It's just a Gen 1 Pokemon clone. So if you like that, and if you want Pokemon on your iOS device without jailbreaking, well, there you go. Got something that at least feels like it.
Sounds
It's
good.
it sounds hilarious and messed up at the same time.
It is. It is. It totally is. Like especially the whole Morty thing, where the first enemy you find is like a scruffy Morty, and the next is a dirty Morty. And you have this like Morty that's holding up a cat.
What the
Oh yeah, and you actually, instead of a Pokedex, you have a Morty pad.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
so stupid, but in the best way.
I actually
Yeah.
when I hear it like this, they actually managed to successfully and very well translate Pokemon into this game.
Yeah, and they honestly they make a lot of jokes about how the game is very much like Pokemon. So
All right.
if you
So
have an iOS device, do check it out because it worth the download.
yeah, you're
Too bad
making
I'm on
me want to
Android.
download it now.
Too bad I'm on Android.
Yeah, well, You win some, you lose some. All right. Anyway,
Indeed.
that's all I've been playing this week. So why don't we move on to our weekly discussion topics? And this week we like always, that's kind of our plan here. We'll all pick a subject to talk about, and this could be something from the societal side of gaming. This could be a certain game mechanic. This could be whatever you want, basically. So I'm gonna start out with Johnny here. He has a nice topic for us, and I wanted to ask him, what is your topic for this week?
My topic for this week was basically like microtransactions has been a great deal of our gaming society for a pretty long time now, where small bit of things that you need to pay for cosmetic purposes. But I was wondering whether or not if production studios have been dividing their attention too much towards that aspect of making the game look good instead of function correctly. Um, when I was playing Blade and Soul, I play in a pretty high end PC, and I pride myself on playing it. But then there was always some minor, small things that are small issues that came up when I was playing it, where oftentimes I'd get kicked out of the game, where I wouldn't be able to connect properly, where the server wasn't running properly, where certain parts of the map got issues where my character model wouldn't work properly. So like small bugs or buggish issues where those things have been happening a whole lot more frequently in game itself. So I wanted to kind of get an idea from you guys. Do you think that have you ever like encountered this type of situation in games that you've met into, or do you think it's just kind of like it's something that's kind of been a issue that's been boiling up to where a lot of people are not liking that is happening anymore?
I actually got the perfect example for that. Overkill Studios, the makers of Payday 2, actually
Yeah.
have this problem. When they introduced microtransactions, it's not only to make the game look good, but it actually makes the game very heavy pay to win. If you buy skins, they actually give more stats like damage and all that stuff. But the game after that microtransaction thing, the game is riddled with bugs and even game breaking ones. And I think they actually ruined their game with it because their player base dropped by 200K in 2 months.
But didn't they at some point like outright promise we will never include microtransactions?
They did, but they haven't held themselves to that promise
Yeah,
as of
it's
yet.
so weird. Like I actually saw the he had a Reddit AMA about it. And it was like the guy was basically like the entirety of Reddit just came after him with like torches and pitchforks. So
Yeah, the
so bad.
community was really upset with that. The whole game is ruined, and it's so. In the past, it was just a couple of DLCs that added a few characters or a new heist or a few maps, but that was it. And you could opt out of buying it, and it wouldn't have any influence on the game. But ever since those microtransactions, it's heavily pay to win now, and I think they ruined their game with it.
Yeah, you see this a lot. Like now, studios are starting to make it a little better, but MMOs especially, like when they started out, especially with the Korean and Chinese MMOs, those were really microtransaction based. They were all free to play because nobody had like a PC at home to play on. You'd go to a PC cafe or PC bong as they'd call them, where you'd sit down and you play your game, you log in, and yeah, it's basically it was supported by microtransactions with kind of an idea to pander to that market specifically. But it's gone to the West where we as consumers are kind of yeah, we're not used to that kind of transaction. We want to pay $60 or 40 for a handheld game for a premium experience. And we don't expect microtransactions to drive up that price. Either that or the game's got to be free. Like if it's free, then microtransactions are a good way to yeah, to
Still
maybe
getting revenue and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, of
And
course.
it's not always bad.
No,
Hmm.
because you do have to realize that some developers, especially smaller ones, release DLC for games to improve the game and to get a little bit of funds for themselves. I mean,
Of
they want
course,
to
'cause,
they want to
like,
keep a game alive.
yeah, you're right about that. And with the introduction of like Kickstarter, Patreon, and those type of developing companies with like indie gamers and stuff, it makes it a little bit harder for them when big business starts to get in on what they're trying to do for themselves or trying to get themselves on their way. Where there's a whole lot of games are pretty okay quality, but unfortunately you can't get anywhere when there's a whole bunch of big budget studios with a very good advertising gets in the way of that. So it's kind of cool to see from what your guys' point of view is with that. And I think Julie, I think probably wanted to make, I guess, a point with that as well in one of her ideas that she had on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my topic of the week was very similar. It's about microtransactions as well, because recently John Smedley, the CEO of Pixel Mage Games and the former Sony Online boss, he went out in a Reddit AMA post, and he asked a lot. He answered a lot of questions and stuff like that from the people, but at the same time, he went out and he said that there will be zero selling of any microtransactions in any Pixel Mage games,
Oh wow!
including the Hero Song, which they are currently, private funding and have a Kickstarter campaign for. And he's gone out and said that they're not going to do microtransactions. They're absolutely not going to do them for any future games from that
So did
company.
Overkill Studios. They said the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, right? I mean,
We
we'll
got
have
you
to wait
covered.
and see. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see if they actually keep their word. But what he's been saying is like the development feeling is just he says that it's just really wrong when it's microtransactions, because they're worrying about the business instead of the gameplay while they're developing the game, and that leads to a lot of compromises with the gameplay.
Yeah, of course.
And what I'm thinking then is that he's saying that, and the compromises and the development of the game, but I'm thinking that depends though, what is the microtransactions going to be? Because if you have, and a lot of games recently at least have kind of gotten the hang of this, the hang of microtransactions, where they only have microtransactions that are cosmetic, that have no impact on the actual gameplay, but more skins to look cool, weapons, just transmog, for example, mounts, pets, stuff like that. And that has actually nothing to do with pay to win. It's not actually helping you progress in the game, but it's just a cosmetic feature. And that shouldn't really have that much of an impact on the development side, though.
Yeah,
Or what
League
do
of
you guys
Legends.
think?
League of Legends, actually, I think they did a very, like, Riot Games did a very, well, not a novel approach, but a very fair one. Like, you can't buy power in the game. You really can't. There's no way.
There's
But
no pay to win feature. There's only
no,
time.
there's the only thing that they do is they have like either cosmetic things, so premium stuff basically, or you can buy yourself an XP boost or anything or something, or an IP boost, which is
Mhm.
used to buy champions. So basically, what the game gives you is a way to pay to save time, which is
Yeah, exactly.
that's also a good thing. Like, but they got the balance right.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay if you do that if the balance is right. If you can still grind out or just get some like points or virtual currency to spend on new things. But if there's a game that a lot of iOS games are guilty of this, is that they have such an incredibly bad experience curve, or like a game curve in general, where it's only solvable by buying the premium package or buying the premium currency. So I think like Riot Games is a good example of how they kind of how you can do it right, how it feels fair.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, there's nothing wrong with having the option to buy cosmetic feature and feel better and look amazing in the game and whatnot. But at the same time, it's not unfair to anyone else, and it doesn't create the drama that previous microtransactions in certain games have caused, because you have one side of the public just bashing on it, while the other side is paying to win. Basically, they're getting weapons that actually have a huge matter in the game.
So Johnny, what's the monetization model in Blade and Soul, by the way?
Theirs is a premium membership goal where it's kind of like depends on how much dividends do you pay out with their game. There's a list of things, man. You need to go to their official Blade and Soul website to take a look at it, because it's on their front page, because they wanted to make it big and broad as to what things do you get. There's 10% XP boosts, 10% gold, 10% XP in combat, 10% XP out of quests and stuff that you do, and those things oftentimes like take up to like about 30 to 40% after premium goal, off the premium of like 20 euros to 30 euros, about something like that.
Okay, so how is it, like, free to play?
It's still on the basis of free to play, just like any other MMO.
But yeah, a subscription, like a premium subscription.
Subscription can give you a sense of individuality, and stuff like what Julie said. It's stuff like it can be an issue where a whole lot of players nowadays lack a sense of individuality and their own sense of MMO experience. So it's oftentimes companies would like to push this ideology. Hey, if you buy this, you'll probably be a little bit different than the other players that you come across into, since your skin looks cooler than theirs.
Yeah,
So then
even if it's like new shoulder pads or something, like, people will see that that's a premium item and like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. That guy spent some money on his character. Like, it's the same thing when you buy like an expensive necklace for yourself in real life, for instance, or some jewelry. It's like you spend some money on yourself, and people will see and like, hey, he actually spent money on looking nice. But that kind of thing.
But I don't like how it's done in this game, though. In this game, it doesn't necessarily like make it good for you as a player who wants to take maybe an hour or two out of your day per day to play this game, when you're noticing people who's already at like level 30 at day one when they put in like 30 euros, because then it gives you a sense of like pay to win, because there's also a PvP system as well. So I don't like that. So I'm hoping that later on they might change their policy, or if it gets better with time, or if the raid exploration is a whole lot better later on. So,
but isn't like PvP usually done with some kind of level scaling?
It is. It is usually done with level scaling, and they also have divisions as well. So when you're around like level 17 or 20, they encourage you to do PvP at them then. And of course, there are certain characters in Blade and Soul. Since a whole lot of people probably don't understand what Blade and Soul is, it's an MMORPG that is brought out since around 2012. It was in PvE for a pretty long time. It came out just this year. It has some bit of issues, of course, but is a very beautiful game. So I still encourage people to try it out. There is a PvP combat system that a whole lot of people are going to be playing it for because of it. And there is character creation is very, very, very in depth. So I still recommend people getting it. And it encourages a whole lot of, very cool play styles. And the fighters that you get per person is kind of cool. There's Kung Fu Master, Blade Master, Assassin, and elemental, or it's like an elementalist class.
All right, well, we're kind of going on a tangent here because we started out with the monetization.
No, but it's kind of like it kind of forces you into that type of situation. Yeah, sorry.
All right. So the next topic we have is from Jeffrey, and I think he actually has a very good one for this week.
Yeah, my subject for this week was the match fixing that occurs in esports nowadays.
Ooh.
So how did you get on that one?
Well, since I'm a vivid and a very hardcore Counter-Strike Global Offensive player, and I'm a bit of in touch with the pro scene, it came to my attention that a professional team called iBuyPower from North America has been permanently banned from Valve-sponsored events, and even from smaller ones like ESEA and Face It and stuff like that. They can no longer participate
Where were they
because,
caught though?
yeah, they are caught. They were permanently banned. An analyst thought they actually were match fixing and throwing the game, and it turns out that they have betted a lot of expensive skins against themselves, and then threw the match on purpose to kind of cash out quickly. And yeah, it was kind of a disgrace. It was treated as a disgrace, and so Valve decided, we don't tolerate this, and you're permanently banned. And yeah, it's I don't know if it occurs in other games, but I thought this was noteworthy in sharing.
Yeah, it has happened before, of course. Like, it's been around for thousands of years with boxing.
That is true.
No, but
No, it's
seriously,
true. It's true.
It kind
He's
of
right.
is.
The queen sport, as they call it.
Like things like for boxing, it's been around. It's even been around for things like maybe races as well. Like every competitive sport basically has this match fixing problem. But now it's getting into the gaming community because it's being enabled by these betting sites. Like, I've never been on one. The only video game betting site I've been on is Salty Bets, which that's something entirely different. It's betting stupid, meaningless currency against Mugen fights. But
All right.
yeah,
Alright.
Mugen is this weird fighting game that anyone can design characters for and include them, that you can just load characters into. So it's Goku fighting Lucario for some, for example.
My
Which is-
favorite one is Steven Seagal versus RoboCop.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Well,
That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
no,
it
you,
does.
you see like the weirdest matches going on. Like you see some like Misty from Pokemon fighting against I don't know, Cloud from Final Fantasy. It's super stupid, but you could just you could just bet some stupid currency on it, like salt.
Mhm.
And if which is kind of- you could bet salt on it, and if you actually ran out of salt, then you could go to the salt mines and get more salt there.
Huh.
All these flavors that you chose to be salty.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's like, like that's the only experience I've had with like video game bets. But with all
It-
these sites that let you bet skins, like especially because these skins can be crazy expensive, like stupidly expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that much experience with it either, but it doesn't surprise me with the way that, esports has gotten so big, and there's such large cash prizes in the mix. And not just that, but like you said, with the skins and everything that cost so much money and that they can resell as well,
Yeah, it's really stupid because there is one skin which is the most sought after. I don't know why. I think it's kind of overrated, but of course it's my own opinion. But that's the AWP Dragon Lore, and there are some variants which are signatures that come with tournaments. That's kind of a special collectible, and those double the value. And a souvenir AWP Dragon Lore with either JW from Fnatic or Kenny S from Envious, which are the two best oppers in CS:GO. Those ops go for like $2,300. So
Good damn.
yeah, and indeed, damn. And of course, there are knives and stuff like that that go for 600, 700 easy. So some people try to take advantage of that and cash out quickly, which is pretty stupid in my opinion. But of course, that kind of stuff happens. But the way iBuyPower did it was very blatant. They were making moves that even a silver in CS:GO wouldn't make, and they were going for these stupid knife kills that everyone knew they were not gonna make, and it was so obvious that I was like, if you're gonna match fix, at least make it subtle.
Well, the
Or
thing
he
is, like,
tried.
maybe it was like a short con. I mean, they got their they managed to cash out because Valve doesn't they don't manage those betting sites. They already bet their items, they already cashed out their money. So they're like, "Yeah, fuck it, now we can just make it as blatant as we want. We don't
Or
have to be subtle anymore."
well, the items are paid out after the match, not during. And Valve has the ability to lock someone's in inventory. So if they cashed out, Valve can lock their CS:GO inventory, so it's unusable. They can't sell it, they can't trade it, they can't do anything with it until an investigation has occurred and see how they acquired those kind of skins. So they it's not necessarily that they already cashed out.
All right.
Then they're just stupid, basically.
Yeah, very.
Yep.
Hey, if you're gonna be a jackass, don't get caught.
Yeah, but it comes with the terror. If you're gonna be a jackass, you're usually going to get caught.
True.
If you're gonna buy
true.
power, don't do it that way.
No puns intended.
Most
Exactly.
certainly intended. So anyway, I think that's all the topics we have for today.
Yeah, pretty much. Or did
Yeah.
you want to talk about something?
Well, I actually have one, and it
Ooh.
it occurred to me naturally. Like this was this thing that I didn't do any research or anything. I was sitting on the train, on the metro, the subway. I was at the station before I got on the train, and I opened my 3DS and I looked at it, nothing. And I got to my destination, which is about maybe 20 minutes, half an hour away. Not too busy, but I open my 3DS when I'm at my destination, and I open it and I see 8 street passes. So that means 8 people with a 3DS have passed me. And I look at the street passes and I see I see girls, I see boys, I see grown men with beards as me. So it's quite diverse, but I never saw anyone pick up their 3DS. And which is kind of weird because like a Nintendo system is kind of recognizable. Like a lot of people know about Pokemon, and a lot of people are very vocal about their love for it. Like you've even got these NFL players who are now doing videos for Nintendo, going like, "Yeah, my favorite Pokemon is Pachirisu." You got this big like 2 meters by 2 meters black dude saying like, "Yeah, my favorite Pokemon is Pikachu." That kind of thing. Like it's starting to get a little bit more mainstream, but still, I'd never see anyone pick up their console. And I started thinking about it, and there is kind of a stigma about it. Like a lot of these people are afraid that they'll be judged for taking out their handheld console and playing it on a train, which is the best time to play it. You're killing time. A lot of people play games on their phones, so why not do it on console? And I was thinking what your opinion on that was, and if you ever ran into that kind of situation.
Wow, that
Well.
was
not everybody at
That was
once.
that
Not
was
everybody
food.
at once.
Yeah, that was apparently that was food for thought right there.
yeah, precisely.
We were pondering. That's okay. We
Yeah.
were pondering.
We were pondering.
No, we were
Go ahead.
reflecting right, yeah.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Well, I think the stigmatization of being judged is mostly, I think the older generation is at fault for that because they usually think that one who is, playing a video game in public is very disconnected from his or her environment. And if you were trying to, have a casual chat with them, they were too focused on their game. So that would be considered rude, but that's just my thought on that. And the whole societal thing about games. I mean, of course, on phones it's more socially acceptable because we have Candy Crush and stuff like that, which is catering to more people, even casual people, not specifically gamers. And handheld consoles are more gamer oriented than your phone. So I think that also has something to do with that. But those are just my 2 cents.
However, how you say that it might strike an antisocial vibe. On the other hand, like people listening to music or reading a newspaper would give the same vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But
we-
you know,
you see these pictures of people like a train full of people and everybody's holding their smartphone, and you see the same picture like from the same line, actually the same train, basically 40 years before, and everyone was sitting with a newspaper,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
with this
definitely.
with the same newspaper. Like times haven't changed, the technology, the medium has changed. And I think that if we look at if we look at the world as a whole, we in Europe are kind of in a middle ground. We have America, where the stigma is very much there. Like, even though pop culture is making a very much a jump towards geek culture, I still think that the stigma is strongest in in America. Here in Europe, it's kind of the best of both worlds, I guess, where you could pick up your 3DS and get some street passes, for instance. But in Japan, you see everyone with their 3DS, with their Vita, even with their Game Boys. They're all playing Monster Hunter. Like it's such a difference, and I think that we as Europeans are kind of in between those.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that it's also something to do with, I mean, you can't get away from the fact that phones in general have become a multimedia in themselves. There's so much you can do on them, not just play games, but you can get in touch with people, texting, snapping, playing games
God,
while you're listening
snapping
to
is a
music.
word now. Oh God,
Snapchat, man.
get off my lawn.
you're getting too old for this, Dennis.
No,
But
I think
and it's also become more mainstream for the older generations as well, I think, to play Facebook games, to play games on your phone from the app stores and stuff like that. And whilst that's mainstream, acknowledged as okay, I think if you were to walk down the street or sit on a bench or something with a game on your phone compared to a handheld console, you would definitely get some looks, or people would walk past and judge you. It's really strange, because whether you're playing on your phone or on Facebook or a console, you're still playing a game.
That's right.
I think a big factor in this equation is the fact that everyone has a smartphone now.
Yeah,
So,
indeed.
like, game consoles they're not really a niche item anymore. They're like, a lot of kids have them and get them for Christmas. They don't love them as much as we do, as more hardcore people. But it's still, yeah, it's not to say that it's a niche item, but phones are a lot more widespread. Everyone has one. I see little kids of like 10 years old with a smartphone in their hands and go like, where the fuck do you need that for? Well, obviously to play Candy Crush on. And
A 10-year-old playing Candy Crush.
Okay.
I can see it.
No, but I kid you not. There was one given point in time when I was working catering back home, and there was a 7-year-old girl with her probably 5-year-old little best friend that she had running around with a smartphone. And I was like, hey, kid, aren't you gonna give your mom? No, it's my phone. I'm like, ah, okay.
Yeah,
I will mind my business then.
even my niece, she's like 8 years old, and my father decided to well,
Get
no,
her
not my
phone?
father. No, my sister decided to get her a phone, get her old one, because we gave her my old phone. All right, and my niece is 8 years old. 8 years old. Like, there's no mobile internet plan on it or anything, so there's no that's not really a problem. But still, like, why does an 8-year-old need WhatsApp? Why does an 8-year-old need her own tablet, which she has now? Like, what the
And
hell?
I
ladies and gentlemen, that's how brats are born.
No, she's actually, the thing is, she's actually a very smart and very social kid. but I think it's kind of taken the place of the Game Boys back in
Yeah.
my day,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like the only thing she does in the tablet is play games.
Or Tamagotchis. Oh,
Tamagotchis were more like a toy than they were a game console.
it
Guess.
taught you how to be respectable to
No,
things.
they taught you should smash them with a hammer if they made too much sound. Like if you do that to your real kids, it's not.
Rage.
Wow.
I'll say they also told taught teachers to never trust stuff from Japan anymore.
That is also true.
Because if you will, you remember like being in elementary school and all of a sudden like 5 Tamagotchis going off in class and a teacher going crazy.
That's true.
But I
If
mean,
you wanted to fuck with them,
talking
you could
about
just
that.
put them in a corner somewhere, for them to discover. And as soon as the bitch gets hungry, it's like beep, 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 beep. See the teacher go crazy.
I think like talking about that as well. I mean, you have to acknowledge the fact that the gaming and the gaming culture basically has gotten a lot more mainstream than it used to be. With the
Call of
technology
Duties
that
and
we
the
have.
MLGs and
and just games on your phone. I mean, it's opening a lot up to the gaming culture and gamers basically.
but is
I
it the
think.
gaming culture though? Like these people that I don't like calling them casual gamers because it's not. No, it's not true because I also play some games what you'd call casually, but that doesn't make me a casual gamer. Like I dislike the term, I should say, but for lack of a better term, let's call them casual gamers for a second. They don't take time out of their day to play. They use it on downtime where they have nothing to do. When they're like on their lunch break and they have 5 minutes left, they play a couple of minutes of The Simpsons tapped out on their phone, something like that. But we, as more aficionados, if you will, we take time out of our day to engage in our hobby, and I think that makes I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, of course, but at the same time, gaming culture. I mean, just talking about esports. I mean, esports is a thing now. It's accepted. I mean, maybe not as much from the older generations. Let's be honest about that. But from the younger generations, I mean, esports is definitely becoming a thing. And professional gamers. I mean, professional gamers. That's a thing now.
That's true. And it's now been accepted by ESPN as well, where it's one of their frontline pages next to NBA stats. There's also League of Legends stats, and that's kind of cool. And exactly to what you were saying, DVoice, there's like NBA players that actually play League of Legends, like Gordon Howard, like Dwight Howard, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. All those type of players actually play like esports. They play StarCraft, League of Legends,
or they get paid to say that they do.
You'll
never know.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of advertisement.
Endorsement is always good.
Yeah. No, the thing is now that esports has been picked up by ESPN, I kind of see this scenario in my head where like 40-year-old deadbeat dads are sitting on the couch like all watching football together, but instead with Miller Lite. Probably. Instead of it being the Super Bowl, it'd be like the LCS or something like that.
I would actually pretty much enjoy that.
Or like a Pokemon tournament, like that kind of thing. I'd actually like to see that. Like,
hey, if it was on TV, I would watch it.
Maybe not as dramatized, but there are venues opening, like esports cafes, esports bars, where people, instead of watching things like football and hockey, they watch League of Legends and Counter-Strike. And I think that's a step in a good direction. Yeah, StarCraft.
Definitely.
I kind of think that we're making progress towards...
And you have that new elective in that high school here in Norway, right?
Oh, yeah.
Instead of gym or PE, you can have esports instead.
I
to learn
actually
how to
read about
play
that.
and stuff.
It
Yeah.
was I thought it was pretty cool because there's actually this program that lets you enroll in a professional team. And
Yeah,
Wow.
I thought
that's amazing.
that's kind of cool. Plus the fact that they just get some high-end PCs out there. I think that's actually kind of cool.
Indeed.
Like if I remember my high school PCs, no way they could run any kind of game except for RuneScape, and even that was struggling.
I ran Sims on mine. And I was pretty much pleased with that for a good class hour or two, because there's nothing more boring than doing administration when you already finished off most of the segment already.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I remember the good old days where we were playing RuneScape
Oh
back
yeah.
then. It was fun, but I kind of miss the old days where we were just sitting on the schoolyard in elementary school playing Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Oh,
I
ask Johnny about that. He still does that.
Yeah,
With the
I
kids in elementary school included, by the way.
we
okay.
need someone to own.
I don't want to sound like some weird dude doing that actually, but it's actually a competitive aspect of a whole lot of card games being played, and I still like to enjoy parts of it, and I would someday like to do commentary for one of them. But hey, until then, I like to do something on my YouTube channel based on that and taking part of that whole entire thing. It's not as bad as you think, of course. Talking to middle-aged kids, the box says +6 and up, but it's not +6 and up that paying for all those expensive cards though. So that's
No, it's soccer moms paying for the expensive cards.
that is
God.
that is true.
I still enjoy my occasional Yu-Gi-Oh duels and stuff like that. It's still fun to me. I've been rewatching the original Yu-Gi-Oh series a few
Yeah,
days
God,
back.
I miss that. I miss how I used to not know what was coming, because it would totally be like this fucking top decking extravaganza where, oh no, I'm about to lose, but let's draw this miracle card if I believe in the heart of the cards. And
And he always
yeah,
drew the right card.
like there was a series on, I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged or something,
Yeah.
in which Kaiba was like, I don't know, but like the stupid discussions and go like, oh no, you can't do that. Shut up, your mom's dead. That kind of thing.
Or when Kaiba said, like, "Shut up, I have money."
Yeah, that kind of thing. That helps too. Like, I remember this one episode where there was this floating castle, and there was no way that, like, through the official rules, that Yugi would be able to win. But instead, he attacked the levitation ring and then made it crash down on all the other monsters and killed them.
Oh
So
wait, I remember this episode.
it was so stupid. Like,
No, actually, he didn't crash it. He had Swords of Revealing Light hanging there, and the castle was being held up by it. But as soon as Swords of Revealing Light expired, the whole castle came tumbling down.
we don't have to go in detail here.
Yeah, but I just had to reminisce on that. That was a good episode.
God, he's actually correcting me as a Yu-Gi-Oh fanboy.
Yeah, getting your
Sorry, my friend.
It's cool, son.
God. So, I think that's all our topics for today. I actually wanted to tackle the new releases, and I'm going to give it over to Jeffrey here, who's going to list them for us.
There are a couple of games coming out this week. These games that I'm going to list now are all coming out on January the 26th of 2016. So let's get on with it. We've got The Witness that's coming out on PC and PS4. Final Fantasy Explorers, that's for the 3DS and the 3DS Enhanced. This War of Mine, The Little Ones, for the PS4 and the Xbox One. And Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution 2 Plus, which is coming for the PSN Vita. And we've got Lego Marvel's Avengers, which is coming for the PS4, the PS3, the PS3N, Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation Vita, Wii U, 3DS, and the Vita. Gemini Heroes Reborn, which is coming for the PS4. And then we're moving on to January 27th, which has Slain for us. and then January the 28th has Shadow Puppeteer in store for us. And last but not least, AIPD, Artificial Intelligence Police Department, which is coming out on the Xbox One on January the 29th. And those were the games that are coming out this week.
I heard Civ Rev in there, Civilization Revolution 2 Plus. I actually played the first one on Xbox Live like a couple of years ago. It was it was good, but I don't think like the people that Civilization targets are the ones who'd like to spend hours on one turn, and not like Civilization Revolution is kind of compacted and simplified by a lot. So I don't think that'll be too successful, but we'll see. And apart from that, yeah, I heard The Witness was really good too.
I haven't heard about that game as of yet.
I heard about it.
No.
It sounds from what I think it's something kind of Law and Order type, but I'm not sure if that's correct. Might have it confused with something else. But yeah, well, those were the new releases. And we now have some news articles for you, and I'll tackle the first one, which is Kojima and the leading PS4 architect, which also designed PS Vita. They embarked on a world tour looking for high-end tech. So Mark Cerny is his name. He was the lead architect for PS4. He has recently joined Twitter, and his first tweet actually announced that he was going on a 10-day trip with Hideo Kojima himself. And apparently they're searching for this new for new technology to use in games. Now I'm pretty sure personally that it's gonna have to do something with the Fox engine having to be replaced because Konami owns it now.
Mhm.
But it might also be something VR based. Because
That'd be so sick.
yeah, well, I always thought that Kojima would be not just a great game designer, but also a great movie director. And if he gets because the next game is coming to both PS4 and PC. Now, what does that say? Well, not just the fact it's exclusivity, but it's also the two platforms on which VR headsets are coming out. So it might be a small hint there, just speculation, but
It'll
it might
definitely be
actually be
interesting.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, how about you, Johnny? How about you take one of the news articles?
I saw
Johnny?
one of the pretty cool, interesting ones from Pokemon Blue. Won't Pokemon Red? You know, the 20-year anniversary that's coming up relatively soon. So if you guys haven't been kept up to date with Pokemon Go, when that's also releasing, and
Oh,
Pokemon Tournament that's also being released somewhere around this year as well. Pokemon Blue Yellow won't use restore points in 3DSs, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
They also released a small commercial with it, saying that you'll also be able to trade off stuff in with your friends on 3DS. It's also being released on that. Pokemon Blue, Yellow, and Red is being released in February of 27th with the anniversary. So I guess you'd be getting some special stuff with it. And during this year's Super Bowl, so if you guys also watch some football with that, you'll be able to get some more information with it as well.
I'm actually quite interested because I kind of see why they're not using save states.
Mm-hmm.
That would kind of fuck up trading, I guess. Like the
Mm-hmm.
restore points, like usually if you I don't know if you guys have ever tried a virtual console game on 3DS, but
Mm-hmm.
they give you the option of making a restore point, so basically a save state.
Yep. So like any other boss or any other like Pokemon that you really need to catch with specific stats or specific abilities or whatever.
Well,
Uh,
there's not really any EVs or IVs in this
uh,
gen, so that's not a problem. But I think more like people abusing it for things like trading,
yeah.
basically cloning Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, you'd want to prevent that, of course, because they did like introduce all the wireless features, which I think is really cool, by the way. The fact that they are basically porting the old Game Boy mechanics into 3DS by using the wireless feature for trading. I'm curious to see how that'll work. But
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I noticed that there's one article in this news list that you really, really liked. I'm going to give it to you.
The Iron Maiden making a video game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, apparently Iron Maiden is planning to make a deep RPG, which is supposed to be a truly authentic Iron Maiden game. And following in the footsteps of Avenged Sevenfold, I didn't even know that Avenged Sevenfold had a game.
Neither did I.
No, I didn't
That's the
either.
first time I read it. I'm like, oh,
Me either. I think like the only other like RPG adventure games were based on like a Rockstar, sort of, in any case, that I knew of was Jack Black with what's that metal game he made again?
a Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend. That's the only one I associate with it so far.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
Brutal
Go
Legend wasn't based on Jack Black per se. Like he
But one
did
of his
a lot
alter
of work for the
egos,
game.
right?
No. It was an original character, but it was very much taking a lot of quips from him, and his persona was very much ingrained into that. But there's also people like Ozzy Osbourne and stuff showing up in that game. So Brutal Legend was kind of it wasn't made to be Jack Black or anything. But this is a band making a video game. Like I can see this being very good, but I'd rather see a game based on Buckethead's like state of mind, because he has all these pictures he paints through his music and his album titles and whatnot, and I'd rather see a game based on that. But a deep RPG experience.
Oh, but you'll be actually. But I think that it said something about them using him too. The guy that the art Eddie, the main
Yeah,
character.
Eddie will be the main character of the game. I think it's pretty awesome.
Eddie,
It's
nice.
yeah, you're playing as the mascot Eddie, and he apparently has many forms and unique abilities, and you are going to be able to explore new worlds, travel through time, and basically, have a kind of RPG game in an Iron Maiden styled thing. And apparently, it's going to be free to play as well. So, and it's coming out on Android and iOS.
Android and iOS. I think that's kind of a disappointment, though. I would have loved to see like a AAA budget game from these guys.
That would be so badass.
I know.
Yeah, I would.
Like Iron Man playing as you rush into battle, that kind of thing. I want to. Man.
It would be good, definitely.
I'm hoping they collaborate with other artists as well. Like that would be actually kind of cool if they like have some cameos in there.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no release date listed.
No, not yet. We only know that the game is going to be called The Legacy of the Beast, and there is no set release date yet.
That's kind of a bummer. Well, I also have I have an article that would kind of tickle Julie's fancy.
Okay.
She knows which one I mean.
Is it the Minecraft one?
No, it's the Overwatch one. Hello.
Oh, it's the Overwatch one. Well, we have so many good articles today, so I've been reading everything. Well, I mean, the what's going on is that the Overwatch PC beta's return has been pushed to February, and it will include a new game mode. What they discovered is that they've gotten a lot of feedback from the beta and the people playing it, is that they desired more game modes in Overwatch in addition to point capture and payload. And what they're doing right now, they haven't gone into completely specifics, but they're working on a new game mode, and they've also got some new maps to support it as well. What they're doing is just adding the finishing touch at this point, and then it will be playable in February for the beta.
Well, let's hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, the beta opened in late October, so they've had quite a while to let people beta test it, and I'm really excited that they're listening to the players and what they want, because this game has a lot of potential. I played it a little bit on the beta myself, and so far I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing, and more maps, that would be amazing. So yeah.
Now, you were in the beta, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Like I said, I played it a little bit. Mainly, I played Tracer. Well, she was so hyped up, I had to play her.
I haven't played that game before. What the Tracer do actually?
Well, she's a character that has guns, right? So you're
really?
shooting. Yeah. And she has this like this core piece in her outfit that allows her to like jump through time, basically, like jump ahead, and basically like portal all over the place. And just nuke people. And it's really fun because you're not just running around really slowly and stuff like that. I also played a little bit of the Reaper, which was also pretty fun. He's like this really heavy-hitting double gun wielder and just annihilating people. But yeah, I mean, all the different characters have really different play styles and different abilities, and you know, it's not really the same with any of them. So whatever you're playing, it's really fun. And while you're playing as well, you can just change your character.
Okay.
So if you get bored, or if you feel like, okay, this is not working against this team, you can just switch and yeah, switch up the game a bit.
All
so
right.
I'm really excited to see how it's going to be finally.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. I haven't played it myself. Still have to at some point, but we'll see. Anyway, the next news article here is that Microsoft has acquired Mojang, as we know, in 2014. But there's a build of Minecraft called Minecraft Edu, which is an education edition, which could focus on could be tweaked a bit and could focus on things like teaching electronics through redstone mechanics and that kind of thing. Now, Microsoft is building a new version after acquiring the Minecraft Edu. They're building a new version, Minecraft Education Edition. The terms of the acquisition are not disclosed, so we don't know how much money they paid for it. It's I think, still kind of weird because it is their intellectual property. So I'm not sure why why they had to pay for it. But anyway, it's a program by Teacher Gaming. It was used in more than 40 countries over the world, and it's purchased by places like schools, libraries, museums, and homeschool programs. So it was kind of an idea to play and learn at the same time.
Yeah.
But
I think it's really funny because I mean, Minecraft these days are so popular amongst children, you know, in the age of like, let's say 6, 7 and upwards.
Mhm.
And putting in the educational part and having them, you know, play at school and libraries and stuff like that is really like implementing, you know, gaming into classrooms basically. And I think that's really interesting. I mean, obviously we've had that before. I mean, I remember at least.
fractions.
Yeah. When I was at school, you know, those terrible PC games that your teachers made you play.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's like you
I
had
actually
to fill
thought
in
there were
words.
some pretty good ones in there. We had this game series called Red Cat, and I thought it was
Okay.
actually very good. But yeah, anyway,
I
saved
think
the last.
Minecraft is going to take it to a new level, though, compared to
I
what we had.
don't know. I don't know. I think the Minecraft craze is starting to die down a little bit.
Well, this is a good bit of good publicity that they need right now in light of the whole little Minecraft incidents they've been having with some of the popularity, uh, popular streamers and YouTubers they've had being accused of certain less than savory things, if
Like
you know what I
building
mean.
giant dicks in Minecraft, probably.
Wow. Oh, well, that above all things, they've been using mods.
Literally.
They've been using mods to create porn.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Yup.
How are you going to produce porn in Minecraft?
Look it up,
Hey,
you'll see.
people said the same thing about Skyrim. Have you ever looked at Skyrim Nexus?
Yeah, there are some.
Yeah, I know. That basically, as soon as
Where there's a
you,
will, there's a way. Just
yeah,
Pretty
people
much.
find a way to put porn in everything.
Yep.
I feel like it takes a certain, special kind of person to look at Minecraft and be like, you know what this needs? Porn.
This
I
looks
just don't
goddamn
understand
hot.
how they got to that point.
Oh, baby, your blocky hips turn me on so much. Like,
Wait, what?
Okay, that sounded way too wrong, Dennis.
Well done, man. Well done.
That sounded actually pretty disturbing, to say the least.
Yeah, Dennis, stop it.
All right. The last news article I'm gonna give over to Johnny because I know that he is interested in this. I believe.
Yeah, I think this was interesting too.
Let's see. Iron Maiden. Oh, Fire Emblem. Yeah. This topic. Okay.
Oh no.
Right. We've
Oh,
already we've already encountered this type of scenario where a whole lot of games have been changed whenever bringing to Western audience, like with Persona. When Persona came out, it was changed in a whole lot of aspects.
Yeah, in Persona 2, the final boss was literally Hitler in Japan.
Yes. Yep.
Literally Hitler.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that didn't jive too well with Western audience. So they were like,
Yeah.
no. We're gonna make it something inanimate and something weird looking and nothing to do affiliate with what actually it's meant. And now they've been doing this with a female character that's gonna be brought out in the new game, Fire Emblem Fates, where there is a gay conversation or a gay drugging scene that's supposed to be brought out, and that's not jiving too well with the American branch. So they're going to be changing that before the release date, where it's actually not going to strongly introduce that aspect of the game, where it probably might end up to be like a magic incorporated scene. Because how it goes is like one of the female characters that you acquire in one of your missions is gonna be she's into girls, but it makes her feel very uncomfortable being around a girl. So the main character, your protagonist, which is mainly a boy, even though he can be, character created to be a girl, is gonna try to use a drug or magically induced drug to turn everybody to gender bend everybody around you.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of weird. Like Japan, I know they're far more open when it comes to sexuality, but yeah, this wouldn't jive well in in Western audiences, especially with how much controversy there's been going around about homosexuality, transsexuality.
Yep.
I mean,
Cisgenders and stuff like that, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was reading the article and I was thinking, okay, like the whole, if you get a good growing bond with the girl and the male protagonist and stuff like that, then
Even
he
when
will
you
fight
turn
the
back.
drink. Yeah, like that part is probably fine, like the gender bending, but at the end, if he does that and the girl, she ends up falling in love with the woman version of the protagonist, and then the magic wears off and the protagonist is revealed as a man, then she will still be in love with him, even though she is at the start gay. And I think that's where it starts getting a bit dangerous for the Western community, I think.
I personally no, it's actually just the whole scenario in general that I probably don't think the Western society will tolerate too much about it. But it's just the whole like ideology of it in general, where it's even though it's 2016, gay marriage is legal multiple places around the world and stuff, but the whole aspect of cisgender and not being born as you are, but rather people still thinking that it's just an idea rather than fact or real life or something. It's still something that's very dicey, even in gaming communities. Even though we do have, um, um, not Reckoning, but the other game, the BioWare type game,
The Mass Effect.
Mass Effect games and stuff like that, where those type of scenarios have been came multiple occasions, and that isn't taking a thing away from those games. And those are.
I think that the problem
Mhm.
with this is it's basically homosexual conversion therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Through the drug,
He's trying
I think,
to change someone's orientation.
Yeah, and I think that especially in today's culture, I don't think that
Yeah.
will
Yeah, that
rece-
would not
be
go over
received
well.
positively.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you like girls? Hey, let me help you with that. Here's a drug. Do you still feel that way? You like me now, but I got dick. Oh, that's good. Okay, cool. I can.
Yeah,
I saw that. I visualized that as a comic book, like a small web comic. Oh god. Well, anyway, I think that's all. Yeah, that's all the news articles we have for this week.
Well,
So,
actually, we still got one.
Oh,
no, we have.
Oh.
Yeah, we got one.
Which one?
Pokemon.
No,
already
we talked about Pokemon. I mean, we can always talk
Johnny
about
did it.
Pokemon more, but
I even talked about like Pokken coming out and stuff and being in arcades and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry for that.
No problem, man. No problem.
all right. Well, let's wrap it up then, perhaps.
Yeah, we listeners, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of D-Pod, your directional podcast. Again, this is brought to you by getgaming.net, so that's get-gaming.net. Now, before we exit, I would like to give everybody a chance to plug their Twitters and their Twitches and their Facebooks and their whatever. You can follow me through Twitter through @dvoice_. You can follow me on Twitch through dvoice. If you shoot me a message anywhere, then I'll be sure to play some games with you. All right.
All right. Yeah.
And what about you guys? Plug your Twitters. Do your thing. That sounds like a sex act, by the way. Hey, girl.
Yeah.
You want to plug my Twitter?
That's way too weird. Well, I can be found on Twitter by @OimateWTF and 2 underscores. You can follow me on Twitch by the username of AutopsyGremlin. My YouTube is the same, so I'm easy to find.
My Twitter is @Danks Productions or @Thedangspro. And for my YouTube, it is Thedangspro Production. And for my Facebook, all that social stuff, it is the same thing. So I hope to see you guys around there.
My Twitter is @CyriaXO. That's Syria with a C, by the way, not the country.
We do not want any problems.
No. Please, no, stay away. And my Steam community ID is TheCyria, also with a C. So hope to hear from you guys, and give us some feedback.
Yeah, we don't have a public email address yet. I'll be sure to get on that. But apart from that, you could always leave us a review. Leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps. Leave us your feedback. Rate us. And if you like us, be sure to leave a like somewhere. And we'll be sure to make this episode available on services like SoundCloud. We're going to put it up on iTunes. You can get it on podcast.get-gaming.net. And we hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.